Welcome everyone to episode 6 of the Pawsey Capital Refresh podcast.
I would like to begin by acknowledging the Wajarri people of the Noongar Nation as the traditional owners of the land that we're recording on today, as well as the Wajarri people whose land supports much of the science undertaken by Pawsey and MWA. I pay my respects to their elders past, present and future.
Earlier this year, Pawsey announced that HPE had been selected to deliver a 78-node cluster that will provide a dedicated system for astronomers to process petabytes of Murchison Widefield Array telescope data. Today, we're going to dive into this cluster, and I'd like to introduce our guests. So we have Stacey, the Capital Refresh's project manager. We have Mark Stickles, Pawsey's executive director, and a very special guest, the MWA director, Melanie Johnston-Hollitt. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aditi.
Let's start with the technology that underpins this cluster. Mark, this is a dedicated system for astronomers. Can you tell us what this cluster comprises of?
Thanks, Aditi, and hello, everyone. So this new cluster is part of the overall architecture and system upgrades at Pawsey, so part of the Australian government's $70 million support for Pawsey. And so I acknowledge that and really pleased to see the progress that we've made in this dedicated upgrade for MWA, which is one of the important projects that we support. The cluster itself is a 78-node cluster, which provides a dedicated system for supporting the MWA with some enhanced storage capability as well, which I'm told is equivalent to about 399 years of high-definition video. The system provides enhanced GPU capabilities that will power the AI, the computational work and the machine learning workflows and data analytics that are so important to our radio astronomers in the MWA. So overall, it's a 546 teraflop cluster with 78 nodes and 384 gigabytes of main memory. That's probably the most technical conversation I've ever given with respect to this, but it's a dedicated piece of hardware that we hope is providing the architecture and platforms to enable the lead researchers working on the NWA to continue their great work and to adjust with the new requirements around sort of advanced workflows and efficiencies that drive their very, very data-intensive research.
So it sounds like this system has come out of the data processing needs of both the instruments. MWA has doubled the number of antennas available, and ASCAP is soon going to be ready to undertake full surveys of the sky. So this sounds like a really big system that will complement these efforts. What are the benefits this new cluster will give to the users?
Yeah, so I'll take that one. So one of the things you want to do in science is you always want to get from your data collection to your scientific knowledge as fast as possible. And radio astronomy is well known for being data intensive. And so we need machines like this, which are going to accelerate our workflows and allow our science researchers who are using the telescope. So we've got 270 researchers around the world using the MWA. We need to allow them to do their work and their data processing as fast as possible. So we've already got, as has been mentioned, 30 petabytes of data sitting in the archive at Pawsey. But the new MWA, which was recently upgraded to phase 2, collects about a petabyte of data a month. And so we need a system like this to be able to accelerate our investigation and processing of those data and turning it into knowledge and scientific papers and discoveries. So this is a huge benefit. The other benefit that we have in having a dedicated system is that it means that we can really work with Pawsey to fine-tune the system to be as efficient as possible for our type of workflows. And so that's really a huge advantage, whereas if you're sharing a system with other users, then you perhaps don't have that luxury. So it's really very exciting for us to have this dedicated machine.
You've touched on the researchers around the world that are using this system, and I believe that MWA have several user groups. So can you tell me more about them and their sentiment towards this new cluster?
The MWA is an international telescope, and we have 20 organisations in 5 different countries and 5 science teams, and they use the telescope in different modes. This ranges from using the telescope as an imaging instrument to be able to survey the sky, to people who are interested in transient radio sources, so things that blink on and off. And those teams need to have very high resolution, frequency and time data to be able to detect the sources and do the science that they want to do. So they have completely different workflows. So one of the really nice things about having this dedicated system is that, again, those teams can come in and they can optimize their workflows and they can tinker with the system and work with Pawsey. So I think it's fair to say that they're very excited about this. And so it's really fantastic to have a resource like that, which is part of this global project, to be able to, really find out what the mysteries of the universe are. It's super cool. So, yeah.
And speaking of exciting things, we've kind of talked about the system, we've talked about requirements, users, and migration. Something really exciting that we haven't touched on yet is, do we have a name for this new cluster?
Yeah, so we do. So if anyone's ever actually seen the MWA, it's comprised of 4,096 dipole antennas, and they look like shiny little metal spiders out in the desert. And so the name that we gave to the compute cluster is Garawala, which is the Wajarri word for spider. So, of course, the MWA is at the Murchison Radio Observatory, which is on the Wajarri land. And so we're very thankful for the Wajarri people for their support of the project. And yeah, so we named it Spider in Wajarri, Garawala.
Melanie, you're right. This is very cool. The work is massive and it's unprecedented, probably in the world of astronomy. So where do we go from here? We're kind of setting up for something really big. What's next?
Well, I think that with any new system, the first thing you have to do is commission it. And so that starts with, your good selves at Pawsey setting it up and making it ready to go for the first wave of technical people. So, very early adopters to come in and check the system and see if it's robust to some of the workflows that we want, and to work with Pawsey to tweak that.
Yes, I think that's absolutely correct. We're very close on installation of the system. We've actually got to the point where some very early users are doing some work on the new system, but we haven't done full acceptance testing yet, and that's not scheduled to occur until July. Once that's complete, we'll go into a more formal early user or early adopter process. And once we reach a point that we're all comfortable with, we'll work together to migrate all users over onto the new system.
Yeah, and I should say that in the interim, of course, our users have access to other resources at Pawsey, which they're currently using to continue doing the data processing and producing good science. But I think people are very excited to get onto the new system and start to accelerate those workflows. So it's a really interesting step up that we get to take, which will be really cool.
Awesome.
It is. The really exciting thing is in the way we can work together to help really accelerate and support your science, and that brings some of our expertise to working in new and better ways with your scientific colleagues.
I really like that. I mean, we're doing really cool stuff. Like we've got this amazing technology. We've got awesome research, but I really like how it's bringing these communities together, not just between our centres and our researchers, but you can see this sense of community even in the name that you've given it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, I think that's also really important. So in any project, if you want it to be successful, you have to build a community around it. You have to bring people together. You have to have people believe that they are part of this and they can help make it great.
Look, well, thank you all for joining me today. I really appreciate the conversation. It's been fun and insightful, and yeah, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
I hope you're all keeping safe out there. It's, like I mentioned in the last podcast, it's unprecedented and some hard times, so please do take care and keep safe. But yes, thank you for joining me. As always, there's a survey linked in the description podcast as well, so where I seek your feedback on the podcast content and any topics to do with the Capital Refresh. This podcast, it's also available on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, so please subscribe. Thanks, everyone.